Look what's heading for my garden. Heck of a gust front and front head of it too. Ay, ay, ay. I'm saying dime to nickel sized hail as well. I guess we'll see in the morning. Well, it's the next morning. Everything's still intact. But we do have a little bit of storm damage. Over here, I've got a tree down by my compost pile. As you can see here. And it's a pretty big one. The thing of it is I don't know where it came from. Right over here by my compost. I actually covered my compost last night because I didn't want it to wash out. I'm not sure where the thing came from. Came from somewhere though. Got a little chainsaw in my future, I think.
Where do you think you're going to put a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you.
Well, I think I found where it came from. Way up there. I'm just glad I wasn't composting at the time. Came through in the middle of the night. Alright. Goody goody. Well, I just got through cutting it out of there. This is what it looks like now. And we got more on the way tonight. Oh goody. We'll see y'all later. I got work to do. Well, here we are about an hour later. Got most of it cleared out. I can get to my compost pile now too. And I got a little bit of wood. Hey y'all. I just turned my compost pile and I think I've made some of the best ever. 7 days, my friends, with the drunken compost formula. Look at how deep, rich, and dark that is there. Camera lighting isn't doing it justice, because this stuff is so rich. 7 days. Grass clippings, kitchen waste, and some leaves. And there it is. Run a little hand tiller over it. Pulverize it a little bit after the 7 days, and ooh, doggy. That's got a future in my tomato bed right there. And then compost tea. This is some from last week that's skinned over here. But if you pull it back, yeah, you can see that's good stuff too. But that's probably the best I've ever made. The composition of it, the fineness. Still got some chunkiness to it, which is good. Keeps it from compacting. Yesterday, I put together a little project I wanted to show you here. I got a hold of a rain barrel. Only cost $5. This one had maraschino cherries in it, so it's food safe. And it also already had perforated holes drilled in the top. And what I'm going to do at some point is I'm going to get me some tubing to run off of our downspout here. And I'm going to have it right off the edge of our deck so we can water our lettuce and cabbage. What I did is I took a 3/4 inch spade bit and I just drilled a hole a couple inches up from the bottom so that sediment could fall in the bottom. And put a ball valve in and screwed it in, put a little pipe thread on it. They say you don't have to do that, but I like to be sure. And then what I noticed is I had a board in the way, but I had an extra Y, and so I just attached that to the end there, and I used the one spigot coming up, and it works pretty good. Pretty good pressure. Now, until I can get it hooked into the rainwater system off of the gutter, what I'm going to do is put my water, my city water, into it, let it sit overnight, and then use this for compost tea also. You really don't want to use city water directly into your compost to make your compost tea. I've talked about this before. But what happens is the city water will kill your beneficial bacteria. if you think about it, the chlorine that they put into the water is designed to kill off bacteria so it's safe for us to drink. That's all well and good until you try to use it for compost, making compost tea. Because then your beneficial bacteria gets killed off and pretty much you just have dirt water then. And a lot of the beneficial aspects of it go away. So, by letting it sit out overnight, and chlorine comes off really fast. I mean, you can let it sit out overnight and it'll pretty much go away. And you're good to go. Somebody asked me how I make compost tea. Well, I actually use a little blue cube ice chest. This would actually hold 60 cans of cola, 60 times 12 ounces. You can work the math out there. What I'll do is I'll fill my 5-gallon bucket over here, about 1/3 full of compost, dump it in there, add the water that's unchlorinated, and I've got a little bubbler, an aquarium pump I got at Walmart. The stone at the bottom here, and the pump in the cheap little tubing here cost me about $7. And if you got you could use a trash can. If you use a trash can, you want to fill that 5-gallon bucket about halfway full. But you could use a trash can, you can use an ice chest, you can use whatever you got. You could use a 5-gallon bucket. If you use a 5-gallon bucket, just take 2 double handfuls of the stuff, throw it in there. And you don't have to have the air stone. You don't have to have the aquarium pump. Every time you walk by it, if you'll keep it stirred up or use it fairly quickly, after a couple hours after making it, that'd be fine too. You'll get beneficial, you'll get the benefit of it, basically. Another thing is some people like to strain it off, and that's okay. But you could actually take the material that's in the water, pour it straight out onto your the bed of your plants, the root system, and it just adds extra compost. So there you go. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this right here. I think this is going to work out real good. In a future episode, I want to get about 5 of these, and I want to show you the complete process for making a 5-barrel system. We'll put a manifold on the bottom, hook it into the rainwater gutter system, and show you how we're going to fill them all up at the same time. That's in a future episode. Well, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put some of this freshly made compost into my wheelbarrow over here, and we're going to go add it to the tomatoes. Here in about 2 or 3 hours, we've got some rain and storms coming in, and I'd like to have a fresh bed of compost down on my tomatoes. I haven't put any down in a while. I had those big tomatoes growing close to the bottom of a couple of the plants, and I wanted to wait till we got those harvested. I'm going to go ahead and do one of the tomato beds though, and show you. Now this, I'm going to see if I can get some of this shoveled out here. Not easy when you got a camera too. Oh, that's good stuff right there. Good stuff. Now I went ahead and took compost and filled in this bed and brought it up on the stems there, as you can see. As you add more compost, roots will start to grow out of the stems, and it'll give you more strength. So as you prune your tomatoes back, you can add more compost to it and do a couple of things. You can give it fresh food. It's about to get watered in here in a few hours, and you'll promote new root growth, because most of your tomato roots are going to be within the top 2 inches of the soil, the best growth. And so if you keep adding compost, you're going to be adding roots. You'll have your main root ball down low too, where it can get water, but a lot of those nutrients come in the top level of the soil. So now we're going to add it to this side. Here's the bed now with all of the compost in it. Added quite a bit here. Whoops. And of course it's very shady and it's hard to see. Might have to come back later tonight and Get a better look at it here. She's going to be well fed now in a few hours when the storms move in. That'll get her settled down in there. She can keep on growing. Yeah. Keep growing, darling. Keep going. My goodness, I got a bunch of heat masters going. Look at there. Getting bigger, and they're going all up the Arkansas Traveler too. There's a little pruning this morning. Look at this cluster right here. That's my Arkansas Traveler there. Nice. That'll work. That will work right there. Well, it's the next afternoon. Got to looking around the garden today, and I figured it's time to do some picking. Put some stuff on the table tonight. Looky there. Isn't that neat? Neat, neat, neat. And I got a heat master that's going nuts over here, growing. It's getting really big. Cantaloupe teepee's doing well. Wife said she saw a little baby one on there the other night. And we've got pumpkins. I hand pollinated that one the other day. Got another one where the bloom fell off. Tried to hand pollinate it. I don't know if that one's going to take though. The watermelons. Wow, looky right there. Just taken right through that trellis. And our seedless. Our green beans are just exploding out of the box. I've got a second trellis strung up there for them. Carrots are coming along. Picked a few of them and they are in the itty bitty baby status there. But we do have some, what some people call string beans. I call green beans there. We're going to take care of those. I got some good looking bells over here, but I'm going to leave it until it turns red on that one. We've got all the different colors. Got a few jalapenos to get. And here, we've got some okra as well, depending on what part of the country you're in. Okra, okra. And it just so happens that I got a couple of tomatoes right there. That is not a Christmas ball. I can't show you the first one picked because my dad came over a couple of days ago and we had cheeseburgers and I just had to serve him up one, the first one of the year. We've got some bell peppers or not bell peppers, sweet banana peppers as well we're going to take. Got some big ones hanging over there. So I better get to it, huh? Well, that'll about do it for the harvest tonight. Puts a little bit of food on the table. Got a couple of tomatoes. Had one earlier in the week and it was awfully good. It'll go with our Mexican chicken tonight. Good stuff. Use some of those jalapenos and sweet peppers and tomatoes. Now make sure you join us next time, because I'm going to take metal conduit and show you how we made these trellises using rebar, the 1/2-inch electrical metal tubing, and some nylon twine to make your own netting. It's a whole lot cheaper, and your money will go a whole lot further if you need to make a whole bunch of trellises that way, rather than having to buy the pre-made trellis netting at the garden center. So this is Reaganite 71. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you next time. How was that, Tink? Was that okay? I'll do it right that time? Watch this. Are you sticking your tongue out at me? Are you sticking your tongue out at me? She's got a nerve right here that goes straight to her tongue. We'll see you next time. I just remembered there's something else I wanted to show you. Check this out. Well, I've got my gutter hooked up finally to the rain barrel. And I bought a little leader hose to come out here so that we can water the lettuce, which is not liking the partial sun, I gotta say. It'll probably come in handy later on when it really gets hot, but it's not liking it right now. But this is it. What I basically did was I took the elbows off, moved them over here, and got me some flexible downspout tubing. And what I'm doing is running it into a 4-inch to 2-inch reducer into the hole, the bung hole, on the top of the barrel. And I took some sheetrock screws, or wood screws, and pre-drilled me a hole and just came in to secure the thing. I've already got my net screen underneath there. And as you can see, I've already got a nice full rain barrel. It rained last night, and we are good to go here. Let's test it out one more time here. I wound up getting rid of that because it was causing problems. Good to go. So I guess the moral to the story is if you got a couple of bucks and a little redneck ingenuity, you too can have a rain barrel.